Test, 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 test. Maybe the power is off. Test. Test. Shabbat shalom, everybody. So, there are a lot of things that we get to talk about today. What is today? See, I knew somebody was going to say Friday the 13th. The air conditioning is working, by the way, but I'm still sweating. How are you doing? Okay. A lot of hot air. Friday the 13th, and a full moon. It's called something like the strawberry something moon. I don't know what strawberry moon. And it's 6:13. How cool is that? You know what 6:13 is? It's how many mitzvot we have. How many commandments do we have? Today is 613. I guess that makes it pomegranate day too, because there are 613 seeds in a pomegranate. I like that it's 613 though. I don't know if you ever do this, but especially since most of the clocks around are digital clocks, every time I see 613, which happens twice a day, I get all excited. It's 613. It's mitzvah time. No, huh? You don't get that. 613. So it is 613. So if you were worried about the Friday the 13th and it being a full moon, nothing to worry about, because it's 613. And tomorrow is 614, which makes it Flag Day. Anybody paying attention to the fact that it's Flag Day? I now know things about Flag Day, that it started in 1777, and it is not officially a national holiday, but there are some states that have turned it into a state holiday, and most of the ones that did celebrate on the second Sunday of June and not on the 14th, but the reason why it's called Flag Day is because it is the day that we chose the first flag, the one in 1777. So, and I know that I don't know what you do to commemorate Flag Day, but I have friends in town who are veterans who use this time, that special day, to appropriately put flags to rest on Flag Day. So, and apparently it is not a federal holiday, but what has to happen is that each year the president has to declare it Flag Week, and each year when the president declares it Flag Week, all week we were supposed to be showing our flags and showing our colors, and it ends tomorrow, and that some people take the 14th and they come and they dispose of flags appropriately. Do you know how to dispose of a flag appropriately? You burn it. Yeah. So the veterans take care of that for us, and if you have any flags that are torn or faded, then please remember to get them to the veterans. And I'm also proud to say we now have a Jewish war veterans post in Shreveport. And you heard the commander here a few times now talking about it. But I want to tell you how awesome this was. We had more than 10 people who are veterans and other people who are just caring people who were there, supporters. The Jewish War Veterans, we found out, is the oldest veterans organization in the country. The Jewish War Veterans are. And we got to choose what our post would be called. So we had, I think we're 581, so we have a number. But we got to choose what the post would be called. And it could have been the Shreveport Bossier Jewish War Veterans Post, but it's not. We decided that North Louisiana seemed to be more encompassing and more appropriate. But then it was Lionel who suggested, and everybody I think was emotional, goosebumps, very proud. He suggested that we had, because the commander said that we had the option of naming the post for any kind of anyone in the military from our community, maybe someone who died or someone who was a hero in a special way. And after I thought we were done with the discussion and had chosen the North Louisiana Jewish War Veterans Post, Lionel said that we had someone in our community, Fred Sklar, who fought in the Battle of the Bulge and then disappeared. I heard a story about a bullet going through his head, and then he was never seen from again, and his father tried to find him, and other relatives tried to find him, and no one could find him. And so he was a lost serviceman, hero from Shreveport. So I am proud to tell you that our post is called the Fred Sklar North Louisiana Jewish War Veterans Post. Look, we got all these people here we never get to see, and this is a good time. So I am going to suggest that we get to our prayers. First, we take a deep breath, because it's been a long week. We take a deep breath and let it out. And try it again. And let it out. Slowly. Make sure you have no stress left in you, because it's Shabbat. And we are going to begin our service on page 65. So I think I'm going to surprise people. We usually don't have specific people as blessers, and we kind of give the honor to everyone. But I'm going to invite Leah up, and I'm going to invite Sarita up. Come on up and help us do these blessings. It's no problem. You can handle this. The candle blessing is on page 65. Our tradition is that we rise for this as we light the candles on page 65. Hey, look who's here. She's come back from France.
Good to see you.
It's wonderful to see you. Okay, come on up. And you could do a one line of Kiddush, no? You could do the whole thing even. Come here. You have to speak it into the microphone, which is okay because it's not Shabbat yet. Come on over. So, Leah, would you go first, please, on page 65? Stand by the microphone and the candles.
Should I read this?
Yes, do the whole page.
Okay. As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Should I do the Hebrew?
You could do it in English. We're going to sing it in Hebrew when you're done.
We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen. Keep going.
Let there be joy.
Let there be light.
Let there be peace.
Let there be Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Now we turn to page 165 for the Kiddush, if you're willing to do it for us in Hebrew. She could start us in Hebrew. Page 165. The Hebrew. Yeah, do the Hebrew. You could do it. Lift the cup. Thank you. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. You could drink it, it's just grape juice. It's not wine, you won't get drunk. L'chaim. Mazel tov. Okay, thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I knew you could handle this. You can sit down if you say Shabbat Shalom to somebody near you. Shabbat Shalom. Toda. Ooh, sorry. Shabbat Shalom. Say Shabbat Shalom to somebody who didn't come with you. Shabbat Shalom to someone who did come with you. And we turn back to page 66 as we welcome Shabbat as if our bride. And we get to be the groom. So we sing together, page 66. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'tfilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shakrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Here comes the bride. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We continue at the bottom of page 67 responsively. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with our people Israel. Like Jews of generations past, we celebrate the grandeur of creation. Like Jews of every age, we echo our people's ancient call for justice. Sharing of and hope. We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone, with differing feelings and insights, and yet we are not entirely alone and separate, for we are children of one people and one heritage.
Celebration unites many separate selves into a single chorus.
And we are one in search of life's meaning. All of us know despair and exaltation. All bear burdens. All have moments of weakness and times of strength. All sing songs of sorrow and love.
May our celebration bring us strength along our way.
In this circle of hope, in the presence of the sacred, may the heart come to know itself and its best, finding a fresh impulse to love the good.
May our celebration lead us to work for the good, and may this Shabbat give strength to us and to our people Israel.
It's Nice for us to be here together. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God through Sabbath rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times if we but open our minds to you.
We feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways. We see the beauty of your creation in mountain, sea, and sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own hearts, speaking the truths the heart knows. May we be your witness to the world, your messenger to all the earth. May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that makes us human.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמא דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם לעלמי עמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder, our hearts cry out, Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth. A vast universe, who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we that you are mindful of us? What are we that you should care for us?
And yet within us abides a measure of your Spirit. You are remote, but oh, how near, ordering the stars in the vast solitudes of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine, and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of evening we seek the light of your presence.
One and only God, you have made each of us unique, and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch be seated. And one of the things we forgot to say is that yesterday was the first day of camp for most kids. So we have nobody from our bet class here right now. So you're going to have to listen to me lead the chanting of the Ve'ahavta. Please join me. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness, a world waiting still to be redeemed, give us, O source of good, the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to your purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, we survived oppression and exile, time and again overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us. Our failings are many, our faults are great. Yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God and to keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed. May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord, as Moses, Miriam, and Israel sang at the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam לפני משה זרי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, and it has been said, the eternal God delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts waiting to do your will.
We praise you, guardian of Israel. whose love gives light to all the world.
O God of Israel, may our worship on this day help us to grow in loyalty to the covenant with you and to the way of life it demands, the way of gentleness and justice, the path of truth and of peace. Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. וישמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וישמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. וישמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Prayer invites God to let the divine presence suffuse our spirits, to let the divine will prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We rise for the tefillah, the prayer section of our service, on page 76. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovi, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are the source of life and blessing.
Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling.
Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom.
Help us to free the captive.
You are our hope in death as in life.
Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting.
Help us to use our strength for good.
You are Kadosh, holy, and your name is Kadosh, holy. And those who strive to be Kadoshim, holy, declare your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God.
Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat, mekadeshe, mekadeshe shevi Shabbat, kulam yismehu, ve'yitanegu mitu v'cha Shabbat. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת, והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת, זכר למעשה וראשית שבת, זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת.
You are with us in our prayer, in our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answers to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Eternal source of good, we give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society, where all may share your gifts in the joy of freedom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ve'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol Bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Our voices come together in prayer, and it's a very powerful thing. But now our voices come together silently as we each pray our own prayers in our hearts and take a moment of silent prayer. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. At this point in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating, and we turn to the inside back cover of our prayer books. Included in our list today, people for whom we are praying, are Carl Bagey and Carrie Bollinger, Virginia Branch, Debbie Davis, David DeFada, Lolita Dufourchard, Glenn Ellis, Jill Fixler, Tracy Gold, Val Gold, Susan Israel, Sister Mary Joan, Evelyn Kern, Jada Wynn, Vicki Marks, Justin Rakowski, Lawrence Shore, Joanne Smith, Phyllis DePongzi, and Stephen Zelanka. If you have other names that you'd like us to add to our list for healing,
And in Roy Harper.
for all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them.
Give them renewed comfort and courage.
Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And we add, Mishabarach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us in this country and the land of Israel and everywhere they have been called to serve. May they return home safely, and let us say,
Amen.
So today's Torah portion, the Torah portion we read tomorrow, is a kind of a fun one. And it's one that defines what happens while we're in our wilderness. It's about spies. And it's about sending the spies out. And it's about when the spies come back, they tell these terrible stories about how scary the people who live there are. But the word for spy is not one of the words that's used in this Torah portion in Hebrew. And so I think about the differences between what would happen when you send out spies to look at a place and when you send out the thing that it tells the Torah portion says that they're sending out. So have you gone anywhere to check out a place? The word that they use is more like the word for touring, like tourist. Have you ever been a tourist somewhere, like, I don't know, China or France or something like that? Have you ever been a tourist somewhere? And when you go as a tourist, intentionally as a tourist, do you go intending to conquer the place? No. Do you go even necessarily intending to say, I wonder if this is where I really want to live forever? Not usually. When you say tour, it usually implies like a going and a coming back. And you've got plenty of pictures to tell of your tales, but it doesn't necessarily imply that the place where you're going to is a place where you're intending to live forever. And so the story is that we sent people there to tour, to look around, see what it was like. The truth is we were right there on the border of the promised land. It was less than 2 years since when we were freed from Egypt, right at about 2 years, and we were ready to go in. And then these tourists, the guys came, the ones who were supposed to go look, and they said these things about how tall, how small we looked in their eyes. We were projecting what they could be. And God got so frustrated with us because God didn't think of us as being spies or tourists. God thought of us as being ready to go into the land. And God said, all right, here you are on the border. Are you ready? Go in. And we said, maybe it would be better if we checked it out first. And God said, okay, you want to check it out? Go ahead, check it out. But it's your place, just go. Here are the keys. It's your place, go. And so we went and checked it out, and the people said, we're not so convinced. And so God said, let me at him, because God does that a lot. And God decided that the people who were here, it's not so much just the people who went touring and told us brought these giant, big bunch of grapes back and told us about how wonderful and how scary the place was. It wasn't just them, it was that we believed them, that we couldn't take that land that God told us we were supposed to take. And that was bad. But I think about the times in our lives when we're poking around, just to look, just to see what it's like. And we're supposed to do that. God tells us that we are supposed to appreciate what God has given us. Well, how many times I think in the past month we've talked about this in connection with Torah portions, that there is a Jewish tradition that when we die, that God asks us questions. And one of the questions God asks us is, I gave you things like pomegranates. Did you taste them? I gave you things like mountains. Did you climb them? The forests that are out there, did you smell them? Did you see what they were like? You don't have to live in them. You just have to check them out, because the world is a magnificent place, and I want you to check it out. I want you to try stuff. I'm not going to ask if it's the kosher stuff or the not kosher stuff. I don't know what God was thinking about that stuff. I don't know, but try stuff. I don't want you to live a life where you felt like you were being a good person all your life and you did the right thing every day and then you went to sleep, and by the end of the day, you didn't do anything new. You didn't make a new dent in this world that showed that you were here or that the world had any influence on you. So scout it out. You can come back home to your safe base. That's okay. But I think that we need to be tourists more. We need to take a break. Summertime is a good time to do that. So I want to hear where you're going. I want to know, she was in France and she came back here, and they were in China. We want to hear about the stories. And I want you to tell the stories about what's been going on. And There's more we're going to tell, but first I would like to hear what our president wants to tell us about what is going on in our community here. What a great community we have here, too. Look, Mr. President.
Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Thank you very much for the leaders of the lighting the candles and the blessing of the wine tonight. The Oneg tonight is hosted by the Barris family in honor of them becoming Jewish. Tomorrow we have a Tot Shabbat from 9 to 9:30. The rabbi will lead services designed for pre-readers. Everyone is invited to sing and boing with us. Tonight, after services, after Oneg, we're going to have our beginning of the Friday Film Fest. Say that fast. And we're going to show the movie Arranged. It's about two young female teachers in public school in Brooklyn that they realize they have more in common than they thought. One is an Orthodox Jew and the other is a practicing Muslim. We'll have pizza, popcorn, and drinks. And it continues on next week and the week after. Actually, next Friday night, we'll have a special Shabbat honoring Gigi Zelensky's family who survived the Holocaust and lived in Shreveport and Marshall, Texas, and the movie will relate to that. So please plan on attending. If you'd like to purchase a Women of Reformed Judaism art calendar, please contact the office or Harriet Glazer. They're $18. Donations were made tonight for the Pulpit Flowers in loving memory of Sadie Friedman by Herman Van Oss, for in loving memory of Alexander Benjamin Mazel by Claire Mazel and Debbie Kamaker and family, and Marka Manasseh and Oscar Manasseh by the Lewis and McGovern families.
Marseille.
Thank you. All right, good.
It's a tough crowd. We have to say all these names, and the names are not always easy. We got very, very, very close right there. I'm impressed. Some of these are tricky. So you heard that we have a whole new Jewish family in town, which is usually a really big reason to celebrate, and it is a reason to celebrate, and they're helping us celebrate by helping to sponsor the Oneg Shabbat, but they're also moving away really soon. So I encourage you to get to know the Bears family, and I encourage you to exchange emails or something because they're moving away. But I would like to call them up. As we turn to page 148, I'd like to call up the family and have them help us by opening the ark as we rise for the Aleinu, because now they're Jewish and they can do these things. Page 148, when the ark is open, please rise. Here they come. They can show you how they've done this before. There they go. Page 148. Go ahead. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויים. You can take it. ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And in the middle of the next page we sing together. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו And when the arks are closed, you may be seated. One down. Come to this side. You want to help this one? Thank you. Watch your ear. And Mazel Tov again. And Mazel Tov. You may be seated. I don't know if you realize that the lists that we have of those who have died in serving our country only go through Wednesday usually. This gives us time, gives them time, the Department of Defense, time to disseminate the information. And I am sad to say that we had 3 people who died before Wednesday, because you know that we also lost more since then. There were 5 more that we will have to read next week that we lost this week too. But I am sad to report that Captain Jason B. Jones served in the Army, and he was 29 from Pennsylvania. And Private First Class Matthew H. Walker served in the Army, and he was 20. And he was from Missouri. And Specialist Terry J. Hearn also served in the Army. He was the oldest of all of them, and he was all of 34. He was from California. May their legacy be a better world. May their memory be a blessing. May their loved ones be consoled, and may we be forever grateful for their service. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And I have a poem I would like to share with you that does meditate on the meaning of love and loss and reminds us of the other holiday that we have this weekend, which is Father's Day on Sunday. I'd like to read it to you first. I hope I do it justice, and then I will let you know its source. Always my father, there for me, though he worked late at night and I was asleep. I always knew when he was home, from a hug and a kiss, I never felt alone. In good times or bad, whatever might be, I only had to ask. Father came to my need. A soft spoken word with love in his eyes. I could count on his wisdom for good advice. He taught me about life, all the important things, caring for family and proper responsibility. It seems like only a moment he shared so much of his life, wishing only the best for his children and wife. When God called him to heaven and it was time to say goodbye, there was a peaceful sleep and a well-deserved rest to a father who devoted time. It seems like only a moment he shared so much of his life, and I think of him often for his wisdom and advice. I'll always have the memory and a beautiful picture to keep, and I often feel his hug and kiss when it's time to go to sleep. I have so much to be thankful for this father of mine. Never can I forget him. Always, this father of mine. That was written almost 2 decades ago by Elliot Goldman. If you'd like copies, we're happy to share copies. And thank you for sharing that with us. We continue on page 153. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. And I'm going to remind you, because apparently I didn't explain as well as I needed to, that it doesn't mean we do not any longer continue to mourn Sylvia Rosenzweig or Shirley Eltis. It's just that the official mourning period that is Shiva and Shloshim ended already last week because there was a holy day. So we will continue to say her name, their names, Yizkor for the year and every year on the Yort sites. We will not forget them. Their memories are blessings. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we are observing Yort sites this week include Leroy Bailey, Randolph Charles Bailey, Eve Baskowitz, Louis Block Sr., Barbara Lane Bronner, Leonard Burakoff, Arji Nagy Deutsch, Ethel Willer Eltis, Sadie Friedman, Richard Golder, Alexander Benjamin Maisel, Marseille Manasseh, Oscar Manasseh, Helene Robbie Meyer, and Lawrence Joseph Blanchard. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154. The translation is on 155. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehe shemei rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. We say together, amen. Please be seated. And I think that we should, I guess we'll sing Ein Keloheinu because you know it the best and you love the Ein Keloheinus. We're on page 159. Let's Ein Keloheinu because we're happy. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. So what I said about visiting and appreciating the world doesn't mean that if you do find that you've gone and visited some new places, you can't fall in love there and stay there. I'm looking at people here who they schlepped out from Longview and the Dallas area, and someone who flew all the way to France and came back again, and China and came back again, and people from all over, people who are leaving us soon, people who become part of our family and are leaving us soon. And that's part of what it is. Explore the world. And make sure you know that this is home base for you also. First, we've got to bless some bread because we've got some special Oneg Shabbat. So if you're under 13 and you're not asleep, you're welcome to come on. All right, get ready. Hold this from underneath. Yay! Look at what we've got. We have a lot of squeaky kids back there during the service. Come on in. Let her in. There's room on this side too, Sadia. Come on in. But look at this. Is this what it's about? Yes. Without this, we will have no tomorrow. You ready? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Grab some bread, everybody. Make sure everybody gets a piece. Make sure. And as I like to tell you, we appreciate that Bethany Sorky makes challah for us, for the kids to stick their adorable little hands on, and for the grown-ups to eat outside, because there's separate. You got it? Go ahead, take some. Take some to daddy too. Take some to mommies and daddies. It's Father's Day after all. Go ahead. Take. We got enough. See that? Perfect. Please rise for the closing benediction. Wherever you've come from and wherever you're going to, I'm very, very, very thankful and very blessed that we were here together to worship. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face always be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace and safe travels. Shabbat shalom.